I'm here with Jeff Richert, independent candidate for the MLA for Peace River North. Jeff, thanks for joining me today.
Thank you.
So currently you're a natural resource management advisor for the Nunwadi Stewardship Society. Why did you decide to get into politics?
I got into politics because when I moved up here in 2010, I saw a lot of things that that really bothered me. It felt like the people in the Peace region, writ large, it felt like we were getting ripped off. You know, there's a lot of activity, a lot of impact, and a lot of issues that weren't addressed. And you know, I've decided to run as an independent because I believe that people in the Peace region, Peace River North specifically, need an advocate speaking out for those issues and being focused on solutions to their problems, and not so much, you know, not so much pandering to Victoria. I think there's specific needs and specific issues that need to be addressed, and those issues can be addressed by the people in this region. And those solutions to the problems that we're experiencing should be channeled to Victoria. And so I really believe that we need an advocate up here.
I see. So why did you feel that you couldn't do that in, say, one of the political parties?
I have a problem with party politics, and this is stemming back to I grew up in Vancouver in the Lower Mainland, 22 years of my life, and I always felt something was wrong. And what I realized is that I was a small town kid that grew up in the wrong place. Moved around British Columbia, moved up here, and I've really seen how detached party politics has become from reality. Party politics to me is more about infighting, and when you're a politician for a party, you're really representing the party, and you're towing the party line, and that's what politics in British Columbia has become. And I think it's a big problem. And to be honest, I'm highly critical of career politicians. There's a lot of people that seem to be in politics these days for their own interests, and they toe the party line to get that pension, to get self-notoriety, but you know, and we become detached from the needs of the people, and you know, that's a big issue for me.
I see. So what are some of the platforms that you're going to base your campaign on?
Well, I'm going to keep a few close to my chest like a good poker player, because I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of people running in this electoral district. I think fundamentally we need to realize that Victoria is calling the shots for the Peace region, and then that needs to stop. I understand how the province works and government operates, but I think there's a lot of people in this region who have a lot of solutions, like I said, to the issues that we encounter. And those solutions can be effective, cost-effective, prudent measures to help us as a Peace region look after ourselves as well. And I think we need to find a process to channel those great ideas and help government help us. And so that's the fundamental philosophy here. I think there's been a couple serious issues up here that have been missed. I think a lot of people know that I'm not a big fan of the Site C project, mostly because, you know, fundamentally I don't believe in destroying a wonderful valley and the history attached to it impacting so many people to generate power when we can burn gas. We have an LNG scheme that's failing the Peace region right now. We have a lot of people out of work, and there's no plan B. What's the plan B for the natural gas? Wells are shut in, and the gas stays in the ground. We could be using that and benefiting that as residents.
I see. Okay, so you know, there have been a couple of people who have thrown their hat in the ring for the riding, including Dan Davies with the Liberals, and just yesterday, Mayor Rob Fraser of Taylor. How do you think your chances are against those two candidates?
I think my chances are good. You know, for me, I'm not focused on the outcome, I'm focused on the process. And I think it's really important for people to understand that if you're going to elect someone like me, you're going to get someone who has a fresh point of view and a fresh perspective and is really grounded. And I really believe that a grassroots approach to politics, including consultation and engagement, something that we haven't seen up here, to be honest, in the Peace region in a long time, is a way for people to get their concerns and their voices heard and their solutions put forward. And I think when people come to election day, they're going to have a decision to make. One, do you want to see the Liberals in power again? And two, if you don't, you know, there's alternatives out there, and I'm one of those alternatives, and I'm willing to work really hard for people. And so, you know, I'm not really concerned about the competition, to be honest with you. I have my message, and I need to work hard to get out there and make sure people understand what I'm all about.
Okay, now I've seen on Facebook that you're actually doing a lot of engaging with people in the region. What have been some of the concerns that you've talked to have brought forward?
There's been a couple. So we have this issue with natural gas. And so the big question is LNG going to go the way we figure? The answer is no. I think a couple projects will go ahead, but there's some powers outside of our realm of influence in British Columbia that are dictating that, meaning supply and demand dynamics in China. So what are some alternative, industry that we could generate or we could create to help generate more jobs? Geothermal is a great idea. I've heard that from a lot of people. The oil and gas service companies in this region could benefit from a geothermal industry. Pipe fitters, welders, compression technology, electricians, construction, those are all jobs related to geothermal, and I would like to see some pilot projects up here to see if we can actually get that industry started. The other one I've heard from a lot of people actually is supporting a farmer's market. Not small, but actually having a dedicated, managed, large-scale regional farmers market up here. We have a massive agricultural sector, and I think a lot of people appreciate food security and focusing on our region, and a lot of people I think would benefit from having a dedicated farmers market, a size enough that would allow a lot of people to source fruits and vegetables during that growing season. So that's two options that I've heard so far that are great ideas.
Okay, well, that's all the time we have for today. Jeff, thanks again for joining us.
Thank you. Thanks.